live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is finally Friday, but what a day it's been. May 12th, going in depth tonight on the verdict coming down earlier today from Boise, Idaho. The jury finding Lori Vallow Daybell guilty on all of the charges presented. We're going to go in depth tonight on this. You can always get in touch with us throughout the show. Very easy to do. Just use a fancy hashtag. It's 2 News Live. Join the conversation there. You can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send us a direct message to weigh in. Let's go in depth right now. It is the big topic today. It's been a topic of discussion for years. Let's head up to Boise, where those charges were read just a few hours ago. Our Daniel Woodruff outside the courthouse today. Daniel, you've been there for many, many days. Many days have been emotional. You've been talking to members of the family, but this one probably a little extra emotional after those charges were read.
Well, today was very climactic and culminating for a lot of people who have been following this case from the very beginning. Back in 2019, when J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan were reported missing, they followed it throughout 2020 as Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were found in Hawaii. Lori was arrested. The children's remains were found on Chad's property. Chad was later arrested. There were questions throughout about Lori Vallow Daybell's competency, but now years later, this trial is now in the history books, and the guilty verdict came down today on 6 counts that Lori Vallow was facing: first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and grand theft. So 6 total counts. The jury spent roughly 7 hours or so deliberating after they got the case. They deliberated a little bit yesterday, and then they deliberated today. The next step in all of this now is sentencing. The judge says Lori will be sentenced probably in a couple of months. They need to prepare a report before that. That'll take a while, but Lori will be sentenced, and then she faces other legal troubles in Arizona beyond this.
Daniel, you were outside listening to the words from Larry Woodcock, from Kay Woodcock. They took the stand, if you will, in front of a bunch of microphones, in front of the media. Very emotional for them. They've been here, virtually almost every day over the last 5 weeks?
That's correct. They've been here since the beginning of testimony in this trial. They have sat in that courtroom through very difficult testimony. They've had to look at photos that were displayed for the jury of the remains of the children. And they sat there, Kay and Larry, and in many cases wept as they heard the testimony and saw the photos. They wept yesterday in court as the prosecutors made their closing arguments and reminded the jury about the graphic nature of this case, the graphic nature of those murders of JJ, of Tylee, and as well of Tammy Daybell. Interestingly, Larry Woodcock, who has no connection to Tammy Daybell, who was married to Chad Daybell for many years, Larry Woodcock paid tribute to her, and he said she is in their hearts, she's part of their lives, and he never met her, but he feels for what happened to her. And he talked about the victims in this case and paid tribute to them.
Well, Daniel, you make a good point about Tammy. Obviously, with Utah ties, she is buried here in Springville, has family, friends in that area. But also what's interesting about this case, it has really captivated people. It's taken them in all over the nation, all over the world. There were just random bystanders, right, outside of the courthouse today as those charges were read?
There were. I met a lady from Sandy, Utah, who was inside the courtroom. No connection to the case. She said she just wanted to drive up because she's been following it and wanted to be here for the final week. So she made it right for the closing arguments, and then she had a seat today in the courtroom for the verdict. We met people here outside from Idaho that have no connection to the case, but they've been following it as well, and they wanted to be here to witness it. I think a lot of people that we've met throughout this time have just wanted to be part of this historic trial. It's a case that's captivated a lot of attention. It had a lot of interesting elements to it. It included religion, as the prosecution said, money, power, and sex. So a lot of things that grab people's attention, but ultimately a lot of people today very sad as well, thinking about the victims in this case and ultimately what this case at the end of the day is all about.
A very heavy day for family, for friends, for complete strangers, and even for yourself. Daniel, you've been covering this for a number of weeks, but also a number of years. Thank you for your great coverage throughout the trial, and on to sentencing we go. So hopefully we get you some rest before then. Thanks, Daniel. Let's turn now to criminal defense attorney Sky Lazaro, joining us live once again, day 3 in studio with us this
Yes.
week. It has been a busy week talking about this trial, what has culminated over the last 5+ weeks. I know you've answered this question today, but it didn't seem like there was really any surprise in the verdict that was turned around.
Not with the short period of time that the jury deliberated. I mean, 7 hours after 5 weeks of trial is pretty telling that they had their minds made up probably before they ever entered the jury room to deliberate.
What is in this report that they need to compile before sentencing? What is that all about, and what makes it take 3 months in this case?
So it's a comprehensive report that's put together usually by adult probation and parole for the court, as well as it goes on to the sentencing or the parole commission. And so what it'll look at is any aggravating or mitigating factors. It'll talk about the nature of the offense that she was convicted of, all of those sorts of things. But it'll also look at her as a person. So they'll look at who she was before, who she became. I mean, I don't know how better way to put it.
Sure.
And you know, the fact that they ran competency and restored her, all of those things are going to be factored in so that they kind of have a snapshot of who she is, what happened, what she did, because our punishment or our justice system and prison system has largely changed over the years from a purely punitive to more of a rehabilitative type structure. So there'll always be a punishment aspect of it. She's going to go to prison. But I think states have largely taken on the task of saying, okay, so this person committed a crime, but let's talk about why.
There are life sentences attached to a lot of these crimes. I think it's interesting when you look at the charges and what returned those guilty verdicts. A conspiracy charge is one thing, but they also tacked on a first-degree murder charge in both JJ and Tylee. Tammy's was a little different. Then there's the grand theft. Was there anything surprising to you about guilty returned in some of the individual charges?
I wasn't surprised about the conspiracy charges so much. I think there was her behavior after the children went missing and along those lines tended to lean some credence to that she knew it had happened and might have had something to do with it. The murder, I was 50-50. I thought they could acquit her of the murder, just given there not being a lot of forensic evidence.
It was a little bit more circumstantial, right?
Placing her at the scene or at the cause of death or any of those things.
If we look here at a full screen graphic I want to show you, this case spans a number of states, including the state of Utah, given Tammy's location in Springville, but there's so much influence for what could happen after this in the state of Arizona. This came from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office shortly after they announced these charges. They released this statement to me. They sent it to me in an email. MCAO has made the state of Idaho aware of our intent to prosecute the defendant, of course that is Lori Vallow Daybell, for charges stemming from these submittals after the defendant is sentenced. The statement here continues to say that they were, of course, going to have her transferred, and at the request, the extradition process will begin. They want her extradited back to Arizona for 2 separate incidents. One in Chandler, Arizona back in 2019, the other in Gilbert. Those are nearby areas, also in 2019. They say in the statement the process can take several weeks or several months. How does this further make this case, I guess, even more complex at this point?
She's not done. She's far from done. They said that they'll have her sentenced first, and then request extradition. She can fight extradition if she so chooses through a writ of habeas corpus. Generally speaking, they're not successful unless there's an issue of identity or something along those lines. But this is just getting started for her. If they extradite her there, the other thing that will happen is it's likely that if she gets extradited to Arizona to face these charges, Idaho can toll her time, which means they won't be giving her credit for the time that she's in Arizona awaiting any sort of resolution on those.
Lifelong charges, basically, sentencing for these, and we don't know what's going to happen in Arizona. So at this point, leading back from 2019, where all of this took shape between the 2 children, between Tammy, which was also, her death was also in October of 2019, this could just keep going for a number of years at this point.
Right, and she has appeal rights.
Right.
So that could be coming, I would expect an appeal to be coming as well.
Very interesting. I'm sure this will not be the last time we talk about this here on 2 News Live. So
not.
thank you for coming by.
I enjoy you so much.
I know we've had you on a lot of shows today, so be on the lookout for Sky Lazaro and her insight on this. throughout the rest of the evening, also coming up tonight. We do want to know more about what you think about the verdict. Sounds like 99% of you, I'm not sure the amount of votes on this poll, sometimes I get to know, 99% of you saying the jury got it right. I've been here a few months at KUTV2 News. This is the most lopsided poll I have seen. We've been covering this trial since the very beginning, so there is a lot of coverage out there. If you're very interested in this, a lot of you have been over the course of many years. There's a lot of great stuff on our website, on our YouTube channel, just a number of different videos that were posted just today from the courtroom or from Larry and Kay outside of the courtroom, from our coverage from the entire 1 o'clock hour. We were on the air an extra hour today talking all about this. So please head to our website and also head to our YouTube channel. Hopefully that's where you're watching us on right now. This is 2 News Live. Let's take a nice left turn just before the weekend. It could be a right turn, depending on who you are. Meteorologist Chase Thomason, kind enough to just hang out for a little bit and digest all of the heavy news today.
That's right.
Let's exhale a little bit. Let's smell the flowers. It is mom's time to shine this weekend.
It's all about
always
mom.
It's always mom's time, but it should be.
Spoiler
But we're
this
looking at
weekend,
the
spoiler the
forecast.
next weekend too. Because unfortunately there is going to be a chance for a few showers and storms for mom. So if maybe you have brunch plans on Sunday, there could be a few showers and thunderstorms.
A little stroll with mom and the umbrella.
Yeah,
that's a nice picture.
That's nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, it's not going to be widespread, though, so there's going to be some breaks here or there. The good news, those temperatures, though, they're staying pretty nice and spring-like in the 70s. So let's get to that forecast. We are watching a few things as we head into your weekend, including the threat for some pretty gusty winds across northern Utah. We do think the strongest winds will be out in Cache Valley Saturday evening through Sunday morning. And that's where we have a high wind watch. This was just issued. These winds are going to be out of the east across the northern end of the Wasatch Front, but peaking in Cache Valley, we could see gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So Saturday afternoon, secure your patio furniture. Maybe you have those outdoor umbrellas getting ready for spring and summer-like weather. Put them down because they're going to be blowing around. This will likely be upgraded to a wind advisory or a high wind warning as we get closer to tomorrow night. So here's the setup. We've got this big ridge of high pressure to our west, and it's blocking any Pacific storms from moving in. However, and this is kind of a little unusual, we have a big storm in the Midwest, and this is a developing storm system coming off of it, and this high is grabbing this low. You get that clockwise rotation, and it's going to be swinging it through northern Utah and out into California, and with that low, it's going to draw up some moisture. We already have a couple light showers in our mountains of eastern Utah. We're going to start to see a little bit more, and that's where the cloud cover is as well. We have more sunshine to our west. So you'll see on Future Track, maybe a sprinkle or two across the mountains of northeastern Utah and southwestern Wyoming. Any evening plans tonight? It looks really nice for your Friday for the up and down the Wasatch Front. But then by tomorrow morning, some of that moisture moves in. So we'll have more cloud cover tomorrow morning. Maybe you have a tea time with mom at the golf course. There could be a few sprinkles Saturday morning. But notice how the showers push towards the west. And then by the afternoon, you're seeing some darker green and some yellow, indicating some heavier precipitation. But again, it's not widespread. So some folks will stay dry. Scattered showers and thunderstorms near the I-15 corridor. We'll have a couple out in eastern Utah by Saturday evening. This is probably our best chance for that rain that could likely linger into Sunday morning. A couple light showers. Notice we are dry down in southern Utah. Hit or miss showers. More scattered showers and storms by Sunday afternoon and evening. But overall, it's going to be a decent Mother's Day. It's going to be a little on the warm side, though, down in St. George. And breezy. 86 tomorrow, 90 degrees on Sunday. And look at those temperatures for most of next week. Hot down south. Low to mid-90s. There could be some stray storms next week, especially in the mountains. St. George, your best chance will be Wednesday and on Thursday. Salt Lake, we'll be in the low 50s for tonight. Low to mid-70s over the weekend. Rain chances around 40 to 50%. Could see a stray storm, though, on Monday at 81 degrees. And then those temperatures will be in the low to mid-80s for most of next week. And then by Friday, though, that could be our hottest day of the year, getting close to 90. So again, we talk about that snowpack. We have been all, month long? It's going to be melting fast.
Yeah, especially when you get towards that tail end there.
Yep.
I know you have a friend in studio tonight.
I do.
I have to read something real quick. Okay. Grab your friend, because we're here to kind of bring the mood up a little bit.
Let's do that.
It's been a tough day.
Yep.
Remember to download our 2 News weather app to always know about changes in your neighborhood. Get updated forecasts, live radar right on your phone. The app, it is free to download, is very easy to use. You see that nice little dot there that shows you exactly where you are and what storms or precip or weather is heading your way. Let's bring it back out live here because it's always nice to have a great guest in studio. Francis has been so well behaved, you would never know he's here.
For the most part, he's been a good boy today.
Well, he's not my child. He's been good to me. You know,
he is my child. This is Francis.
See, he's laughing running.
But see, he's very food motivated, so he's going to go off and try to smell, find some food. But Francis, come here. Hey.
There we go.
I mean, I wish I brought his treats, but let's do. Can you sit? Oh, good boy.
Oh.
Can you shake?
He's like, Dad, give me a snack.
There you go.
Okay.
Good boy.
Friday fun.
We're having a good time.
Francis should be here every Friday.
I agree.
Maybe that'll have to happen.
We'll
like,
ask the
Dad,
bosses.
I like this place too. Hey, that'll do it for us here on 2 News Live. Thanks for being with us all week long. We've touched on a number of interesting topics. Please go back into the archives and take a look. Francis is done.
He's out of here.
I'm out of here. He's like, we're done with this show.
He's ready for dinner.
For Chase, I'm Brian. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.